Nice. Hello and welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with BANT Maverick. So, the recent printings of Oko, Teferi, and Uro have definitely pushed people to try BANT Maverick out a little bit more. There's definitely different versions of BANT that have been played in Legacy from time to time. Reed Duke definitely popularized the archetype. More so a bug deck with Noble Hierarchs, playing things like Trino Nemesis, Jace Mind Sculptor, Daze. But BANT Maverick leverages the power of some of the 3-mana Planeswalkers in Oko and Teferi. And then Uro seems pretty sweet in this deck as well. We have a lot of lands we can put in. The life gain isn't irrelevant. We also get to use the escape of Uro pretty early on as well, hopefully. Hey, Cal, yeah, just starting out. So, the one thing this deck is missing is Misties. The Misties are probably better than the Verdant Catacombs just because they can fetch the Tundra. And that hopefully won't come up, but we'll see how it goes. So recently there's been a shift towards Dryad Militant in the main deck, mainly as a way to beat out Breach in Game 1. Breach is obviously a combo deck that is actually pretty easy to combo out under a Gaddock Teeg, but it's a lot harder to combo out with a Dryad Militant in play. Being able to exile their instant and sorceries is pretty awesome. So Dryad Militant's really nice. It's a really cheap piece of interaction as well. And it's also a pretty solid clock, especially once you start getting down some exalted creatures, and of course just some other beaters to beat down with it. Teferi is pretty cool in this deck, so it can bounce any troublesome permanents in Game 1. It can also allow us to green suns at instant speed, which is very cool. So hopefully we get to do some pretty cool shenanigans with that. I'm going to assume the best thing we can probably do is something like green suns Scavenging Ooze at instant speed to eat a relevant spell in the graveyard. Teferi does stop Terminus, which is pretty huge for the deck. Maverick's always had a pretty big target on its head with Terminus. Unlike Aethervial decks like Death and Taxes, you don't have that ability to just sort of rebuild the board at instant speed. You have to wait a turn, play a creature, and then untap, which is usually pretty difficult. So having the not only Teferi in the deck, but also the instant speed ability of it for Green Suns is really nice. Oko is pretty great as well. Just to creating that sort of sub-game for fair decks to have to deal with it is pretty annoying. I've definitely played against my fair share of Oko, so I definitely know the feeling of having sort of a beatdown strategy and then them landing in Oko, and then you have to kind of take off from dealing with your opponent and actually dealing with the Oko. So Oko should be pretty cool in this deck. We aren't running Gilded Goose. I was thinking of running Gilded Goose, but I knew that as soon as I didn't have the ability to make mana and I had to make a food with it, I would regret it, and I really want to play the Birds of Paradise instead. So we're running a split of 3 nobles and 2 birds. And then of course Dryad Arbor can also ramp us on turn 1 with Green Sun Zenith. The rest of the package here is pretty straightforward. So we'll see how that goes. Basic Swamps. I should be on for a league. So I think I usually finish up about 1, which is in about 3 hours. Mainly because of the grindiness of these matches. But very cool to have you in chat. To the board, I put a Swords in the board because I feel like right now there's a lot of decks that just don't really care about Swords to Plowshares. There's a lot of combo decks, and there's a lot of decks where I don't want to be drawing multiples, like Miracles in Game 1. It's always interesting because I know that Miracles isn't the most popular deck right now, but in this time slot, whenever I stream, I always seem to run into it, so it's going to be nice to have maybe at least another spell instead. Legend, thank you very much. Savine's Reclamation is a card that I really like. I think it's the biggest sleeper in Legacy in regards to our white cards. The ability for Reclamation to get back Uro, Teferi, or Oko, or even another Reliquary, Sylvan Library, is really good. And then of course the flashback allows you to get back 2. So that's going to be really interesting to see how well Reclamation comes in handy. Mainly for the grindy matchups, things like Grixis. It can be good against Death and Taxes. It's interesting because I did bring it in against Miracles, but of course a lot of the time your creatures are either going to the bottom of the library or getting exiled, so it actually isn't as relevant as I hoped it would. Judgment is mainly there for True Name Nemesis and other permanents we can't really deal with. Sometimes Jace Mind Sculptor can be a little bit tough for this deck to deal with, but with Questing Beast in the deck, it definitely helps having a hasty creature off Green Suns. Palace Jail is just for those grindy matchups like lands, where I want the extra card draw, and I'm not in a position where my opponent's just going to go wide and sort of take over the crown. Dovin's Veto is really nice. I know Matt Sol and Dan Neely have been testing Dovin's Veto over Flusterstorm, mainly because it's a little bit more viable and it hits things like Planeswalkers. I'm a big fan of Dovin's Veto. Elemental Blast is interesting, mainly for Breach. This deck can also have a hard time against go wide strategies, so Young Pyromancer is a pretty good hit. Dreadhorde Arcanist is a pretty good hit. Even something like hitting a Gamble is pretty good. I'm not sure how to bring it in against lands because there's just so few targets other than Gamble and Gamble. So Elemental Blast should be pretty interesting. Veils are in there just because Veils are so good. Mainly against the Tendrils decks. Any sort of hand disruption decks they're pretty nice against. It's actually great against Painter, which is being seeing a bit of play. It can give you that extra turn that you need to be able to deal with the combo, because of course when Painter's online it usually names blue. So having Veil is pretty cool because they can't actually target you with Grindstone. And then Force of Vigor I've been really happy with. Force is a card that I really like against Breach because you can tap out and still have up the ability to deal with a Breach, which is very cool. So Force is in there. Maybe the double blue Elemental Blast isn't that great. I might actually go up to 2 Dovin's Veto. Because Veto is really strong. Maverick isn't really a deck that likes to keep open mana and just hold up counter spells, but I think because of the ability for Veto to hit something pretty hard, like a Terminus or some sort of game-winning spell, that it's probably worth it. The other card I was thinking of was Meddling Mage. Meddling Mage is kind of nice as a counter spell because it attacks, it applies pressure through that. It's very versatile. You can bring it in against a lot of decks, which is really nice. Hey, Seraphix, nice to see you in chat. So Veto will be interesting. I'm mainly playing the 2 because I definitely want to see it, and if I'm only playing 1 against the decks where I really want it, I'm probably not going to draw it. So that's kind of the reasoning there. But that is this version of BANT Maverick. We'll see how it goes. It's definitely not a finished product. I know a lot of people have been playing it online and finding some pretty good results with it, so we will see how this goes. Very cool color pie though. I'm a big fan of BANT colors. Pretty fair. Lavinia. Lavinia would actually be very cool. Lavinia is a card that stops your opponent, or stops anyone, from casting spells with a converted mana cost higher than the number of lands they control, I believe. Let me check it. Yes. So I wonder if... Hopefully the MTG bot is working. Nice, so each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands that player controls. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It does counter LED. Interesting. Lavinia is an interesting one. Maybe I should be playing around with that as well. This hand's pretty sweet. We have a turn 2 Thalia, and then we have a turn 3 Knight. Or if Thalia doesn't stick around, we have Teferi as well, so pretty happy to keep this. We also have interaction with Wasteland, 3 lands that can cast all our spells, which is nice. Windswept Heath. So if I don't want to get Wastelanded, I can just lead with Windswept Heath here. If I want to act like I have something like Spell Pierce, I could lead with the Tropical Island. Or Spell Snare. I think Spell Snare is really underrated right now. Especially hitting Breach, that's pretty huge. I think I'm happy to go for the Windswept Heath because if my opponent's on a Bolt deck, I kind of want to get this Knight of the Reliquary to a 4/4 as soon as possible. So if we play the fetch and draw into another one, we can at least also play around Wasteland this turn and maybe get the knight to a 4/4 by as soon as turn 3. Preordain, okay. So Preordain makes me think this is some sort of combo deck. Preordain probably the cantrip of choice that makes it seem like it's probably more of an unfair deck than a fair deck. Especially if my opponent is playing out LED. So I'm not a big fan of drawing into a Savannah, so I want to at least get one out of the deck. I probably don't want to show that I'm on blue yet, so I'm just going to go for Karakas and then play Thalia. Blue unplayable as always. So unfortunately, Thalia against breach decks isn't a win in itself. It does take a bit more than just Thalia on its own, because they can find the extra mana through just LEDs. But Thalia is definitely fun. It's a good speed bump against the deck, and hopefully can buy me a little bit of time. Teferi isn't as back-breaking against this deck. For them only to be casting spells at sorcery speed doesn't really hurt them. But if they do something like cast a breach, then we can't cast the Teferi next turn because of the Thalia, but we can cast Knight, which is nice. David Brocci, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yeah, we have Blue Blast in the sideboard, which is nice. We did just drop one for a Dovin's Veto, so we'll hopefully, if this is a breach deck, I think my opponent's having a good think if they can win this turn, which is pretty rough. Should probably just 6 this. Hey, thank you. Yeah, I hope this sideboard is going to be pretty good against breach. Hey, HD Butt. Why 2 birds? That's a good question. I think because I'm so used to playing the black splash that I'm used to having more birds than hierarchs. But to be fair, maybe it's not worth it. Especially because the Exalted can add up. It plays a little bit around Plague Engineer, where you can actually maybe get a Plague naming bird instead of human because your opponent sees that you're on Birds of Paradise, but that's probably a small reason to. So this card's amazing. For anyone in chat who hasn't seen it yet, Underworld Breach is pretty much taking over Legacy. It's definitely become sort of the forefront of what a Storm deck should be in Legacy. There's a few different versions. There's a Grixis version. There's a Jeskai version, which I assume my opponent is on. I'm going to assume my opponent is also playing Monastery Mentor, which is always tough because it means that I probably want to keep in some number of Swords to Plowshares. But if they are just going for the normal deck win, then it's going to be pretty tough to beat out. Orum's Chant is pretty good. It's definitely a card I don't want to see too much of. But when looking at our sideboard here, we do have a few cards to bring in. So Ley Lines are a definite, and the Blue Elementalist is really good. Dovin's Veto is really interesting. I think Dovin's Veto could come in, especially on the play. The third Swords can probably stay out. I might even drop 1 Swords and just keep 2 in for Mentors. The Veils are interesting. If they're playing... They're probably not playing Tendrils, but... I believe it is... Yeah, we can't actually... We're getting Hexproof from blue and black, which is nice. So we can actually win off a Brain Freeze, but it can be tough. Lightning Bolt's another way to win. Just bolting us out of the game is a pretty good plan as well. And something we can't really play around. Yeah, they play Grape Shot as well, which is pretty rough. But the Bolt's here as well. Bolt's pretty good with Escape. I guess you do need to make red mana, but it's pretty easy with LED and this amount of cards in your graveyard already. Dryad Militant is a really good card to have in the main deck against this deck. Dryad Militant makes it really hard for them to combo off, especially in game 1. I assume they'd have to draw a Bolt and then actually deal with it. But luckily with the way that damage works and state-based actions, if they Bolt a Dryad Arbor, the Bolt gets exiled, and then state-based actions are checked, and the Dryad Militant dies. So at least if they spend a Bolt on the Dryad Militant, it is exiled itself as well, which is nice. So my opponent has got the win here, but I really want to just check their deck and see what they have. So even knowing little things like they of course have Teferi in their deck, they're playing Bolt. I guess they also get to see us now, which is a little bit annoying, because now they get to see Dryad Arbor. Maybe I should have just conceded in response to the Brain Freeze targeting us. But this is it, just another Brain Freeze targeting us, and we try to draw a card in our upkeep, and sadly we die. So Ley Lines are pretty fantastic. Force of Vigor is a really nice card. Blue Elemental Blast as well to deal with the breaches themselves. Fair cards, we're probably looking at taking away Questing Beast. Gaddock Teeg is probably... It's pretty sad to say that Gaddock Teeg can probably come out against this deck. Collector Ouphe is really nice. Scryb Ranger is probably a little bit too cute. Dave and Ooze. I'm going to drop a Wasteland, because they are a pretty basic heavy deck. The vetoes are pretty interesting. The one thing I don't want to do is take away too many threats from my deck and not allow us to actually win the game. But I might start dropping just some cards. Okos are fine, but a little bit slow. Uro is an interesting one. I think we can definitely drop Uro. Or at least have one in the deck, just as a Green Sun's target if we need it. The fast mana is really nice through Birds and Noble Hierarch. Dryad Militant, of course, is really nice. Qasali, all these cards. So if we are taking out these, we have 2 cards left. Second veto is interesting. The second veto is mainly coming in because I want to see Dovin's veto. So... the one thing that I like about Mother of Runes is that it saves my creatures from Chain of Vapor, and also things like Lightning Bolt. So if my plan is to land something like Dryad Militant or Collector Ouphe, then Mum really helps with actually keeping them around. Scooze is good. I think Library's pretty good because this is a matchup where we can be pretty aggressive with it. Teferi's not that great. We can probably even go down to a 1 Teferi. Bouncing things can be nice, because it can mean like they tap out for a breach and we have Thalia out, so we play Teferi and bounce it, but... yeah, we have 30 seconds left, so we'll see how that goes. I still like the 4 Green Suns because we have so many cheap spells we really want to get a hold of quickly. It might even just be a second night, a third night. Which is tough, but I feel like... let's go for 1 Library, and get back a night, and then play with his 60. Love to play first. And although we don't have a Leyline in this hand's pretty nice. So we have a turn 1 Dryad Militant, turn 2 Thalia, and then if we draw a green spell, which is pretty likely, we have Force of Vigor up as well, so I'm actually going to keep this. It's always tough because Leyline can make you sometimes drop some hands that aren't that great, but... do I want to lead with Dryad Militant, or do I want to fetch for a... I think I'm happy leading with Dryad Arbor, and then just getting a basic planes with this. So we're going to go for Dryad Arbor first. Yesterday at Highlander, I came in the top 4. I played Junk. I went down to Tim on Elves, which was a pretty sweet matchup. I did make a mistake, but Tim definitely played to his outs and just went off, which is very cool to see. Yeah, Tim is crushing in at Highlander. This is going to be interesting. Mentor. Okay, that's fine. We have the swords ready. So they kind of went all in on this Mentor, which is kind of nice for us. I'm going to get a Tundra here. So that's definitely a reason why I like to keep in the 2 swords and just take 1 out, because although they can be dead, if my opponent does try to go for just a mentor plan, then it can be pretty rough. Swords, okay. So if we draw a white source here, we can play the Mum and Thalia. Veto. Interesting. I think here I still just like Thalia. Because sadly we can't play Mum and also hold up Veto. Yeah, Tim's got really good at his deck, which is nice. I feel like he's built his own version of the deck as well, which is great to see. Leyline, oof. So I wonder here if I just hold up Dovin's Veto or if I play the Mother of Runes. I think I like keeping up the Veto, just in case my opponent has like a removal spell for Thalia here, and then goes off next turn. Whereas if we don't do anything, we can hopefully draw into either another white source or a green card, which is there's a pretty high chance of that. Yeah, it's always tough getting that one last piece of power for Highlander. Predict. Interesting. That's going to resolve. I'm going to keep the Veto for something that either deals with Thalia or is looking to make them... looking like it's going to win them the game, like a Breach. I feel like the first piece of power is always the hardest one to get. Mentor. Okay. Leyline. So I think because the Mentor is now in play, I kind of want to go for just Mum here, and then hold up Dovin's Veto next turn. And I think I'm also happy to attack here, because I'm probably not going to block a Mentor next turn, especially if only one spell makes it a 3/3, so... This is definitely the downside of running Leyline and not having an opening hand. It can get a little bit out of hand, to say the least. But you got to take the good with the bad. So interesting. No spells pre-combat, which is very interesting. Karakas. Well, Karakas is kind of nice. We're getting pretty close to just hardcast Force of Vigor as well. Predict. Hey, Chris, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? I'm going to quickly see who they're targeting. Most likely themselves. And I believe they don't know what's on top. So it'll be interesting to see what they name. It's called BANT Lawyer. This is why I really like the Jeskai build of this deck, because it has the ability to pivot into a Monastery Mentor build. And it's tough because, like, you know, you bring in cards like Leyline, and they obviously don't do a whole lot. Brainstorm's interesting. I think I'm happy countering this. I really don't want them to dig here and find more spells. This also means if they don't have a land drop, they definitely can't have a removal spell for Mum. So I'm pretty happy just blocking Mentor and giving Pro with Mum. This also means they can't source to Plowshares it, which is nice because they don't have the mana for it and it's already got Pro White. Classic. So now I'm in the position to actually just hold back the Thalia. I think that if we're attacking for 2 a turn, it's probably better to keep back some defenses. The funny thing is as well that I can't cast them unless I have Birds to Paradise. I could draw my 2 birds, that's very true. Ooh, Petal. Petal's actually kind of nice because it makes a monk and also ticks up all of these monks. Interesting. So they are giving me the chance here to actually double block the Mentor. And if they have a Swords, they have a Swords. We could double block, first strike, and then Mum can protect herself. It doesn't really do anything if they have another spell like a Brainstorm. I also have the ability just to trade with a Monk and make them have something like a Brainstorm if they want to keep the Monk. So maybe I still have the time here to deal with Mentor. I think this is fine. How does Maverick usually beat Mentor? Swords to Plowshares is nice. If you're running red, you have Punishing Fire, which is nice. Black, you might be running Plague Engineer, which is pretty good. You also have Zealous Persecution can work, but sometimes it blows up in your face. Teeg's interesting. I wonder if Force is better. So is it better to hold up Force, or is it better to play Teeg here? And I actually think it's better to play Teeg here, just because it's another 2/2 that can block. It does stop all of these from being cast. But I think this is actually fine. Mentor can be tough though. I think that Maverick definitely has a weakness for go-wide strategies like Mentor, like Young Pyromancer. So it can be pretty tough. Swords on the Mum. So here this is a pretty easy just giveaway that we give Mum Pro White. I can still cast my Leyline. Oh, the funny thing is actually, if I want to use this Force of Vigor, I can use Karakas to return Teeg to my hand, and then pay 1 with Thalia with the Trop, and cast Force for its alternate cost, pitching the Teeg. which is pretty cool. A little interaction that we should definitely consider if it comes up. Especially if they like tap out for breach here. I can't hardcast it because of the Gaddock Teeg, sadly. And I also don't have 5 mana to pay for the Thalia. Yeah, Thalia attacks is rough. Yeah, ley lines are definitely sort of feast or famine. They either do really well on turn 0 or turn 1, or you just draw them. Which, to be fair, you know, in most games you might draw 1 or 2. So I think the upside of how good leyline is in the deck, I'm pretty happy just to play around with that. This looks like a breach. It is a breach, okay. So breach resolves. But now there's a pretty cool trick here. So they're gonna flash back pedal. Okay. So I think here we just have to go for return Gaddock Teeg. Pay 1. Cast this on Underworld Breach, pitching the Teeg. Still tough. Because our opponents can be getting in for a fair bit here, and we have to block. I sadly think this is just game. We can't really do anything, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, so even if we have 2 blockers here for 2 of these, we're on 3 lives, so they can still get in for 4 without even casting anything. So unfortunately, that is just game. Cool game, though. Cool game. Cool game. The, yeah, the ley lines are a bit rough, but would have been nice to find some more sort of interactive spells. But I still think that Leyline's the choice of Graveyard Hate right now. As good as Surgical and Fairy Macabre can be, I think turning off the full Graveyard as a resource for an opponent is really good. Against lands, against Breach. It also makes them have to have some sort of bounce spell or removal spell. And usually by the time they find it, you have also built out your board with other disruptive spells like Dryad Militant or Gaddock Teeg or Collector Ouphe, so it's usually pretty nice. Okay, we're up against Yan Master, and we are on the play, which is nice. And this hand's perfect. This hand's really nice. We'll keep this. So we have a mana accelerant in either Noble Hierarch or Birds of Paradise. We have a turn 2 Thalia and Wasteland, and then we have Green Suns for whatever we need, which is cool. Once Upon a Time is seeing a lot of play in Green-White Maverick, which is pretty cool. So usually you see Noble Hierarchs go down to 3, Green Suns go down to 3, and then drop like a Savannah, and just play the 2 Savannahs. That fits in 3, and then you just usually take out 1 more card, maybe like a Thalia or a Mum, probably one of your 4-obs, so you can fit in the 4th. So you can fit in the 4th version. Hey, Irish Visionary, a huge thank you for the sub. 10 months is a lot, so that's very cool. Very cool. What have you been up to? I like the Thespian stage. Okay. Sylvan Scrying. Well, luckily we have Wasteland here, which is really nice. Which I don't mind just going after this Thespian stage. So we can play Thalia first, just in case they have Elvish Spirit Guide crop rotation. This is interesting. I also have the option of going Wasteland, play Thalia, play Birds, and then the following turn we can Green Suns for 3, 4, 5. We can Green Suns for 3. But if they're getting the Urborg, it makes me feel like they have some sort of hand disruption in hand. So I think I actually just like Wasteland here, play Thalia, and then Wasteland them. Karakas is fine. I think we just might do the same play here. So play Thalia, play Wasteland, Wasteland Karakas. Run it back. Lots of Maverick, Rug, and just now picking up Infect. Infect is very cool. Are you just playing the Simic version of Infect, or are you running like white? I've seen some people run white for Teferi. But I think that's more a modern deck, and I think it's more people just trying it out. I think Simic is probably the best line. Simic allowing you just to pretty much stay on point. Blazing Shoal. Yes, Cal, yes. Okay, I think here we just want to run out the Birds and the Mum. This means next turn, if we draw into a land, we can Green Suns for another Reliquary. Hexmage is fine. Oh, okay. So if we draw into Wasteland, we actually have them here, which is really nice. Now the Swords, okay. So the big issue here is that if our opponent has... Okay, well actually, okay, let's look at this. If our opponent end step makes it 20/20, they can then untap, and worst case, they have a land for Sejiri Step to either crop rotate into or Sejiri Step naturally to give pro green. But we do have Swords to Plowshares, which is really nice. So either way, Sejiri Step isn't a win. I don't want to Green Suns here because that taps us out. So I think we just have to... Pretty happy to attack with Thalia here. This does have first strike, but we'll see if they actually block or not. They're going to take it. Okay. Hey, Jesus. Welcome to the stream. So we'll see what they do here. Yeah, I think BMF seems pretty cool at the moment. I really like the interaction of... So I think here maybe I actually just want to Swords here in case they also have Not of This World. I guess I can play around Not of This World a little bit because of the Thalia attacks. Unless they have 2 Not of This World, we can't beat. I guess we can because we have Birds as well. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so Sejiri Step. I think I'm happy for this to resolve because they most likely name green. They choose green, okay. Go for Swords. If they have Not of This World, they can pay for it with Tomb. They have it, but luckily we have the second Swords, and they're tapped out, so it doesn't really matter. The annoying thing is they're back to 34 life. But hopefully if we draw into a land here, we can Green Suns another Reliquary. Lavinia seems really good. I'm a big fan of Lavinia. And probably should be in this list. Maybe even over a Fetch Land's Perfect. Maybe even over the Dovin's Veto. And yeah, they're just going to concede there. So obviously their hand wasn't too good. Interesting. So what do I like here? I don't mind the Veils just because of hand disruption. Even though we're on the draw, it doesn't seem too bad. The extra swords can definitely come in. Thalia is interesting. I feel like Thalia might tax us a little bit more than our opponent. Turbo Depths is very sweet. Force of Vigor doesn't do a whole lot. I don't really want to be hitting Lotus Petals. That's really the only thing they have. They might have something like Sylvan Library, but... Sevinne's Reclamation is interesting, but I don't think it's really needed. Teferi's really nice. Oko's really nice at answering cards. Gaddock Teeg does stop it does stop Not of This World, but it also stops Green Sun, so... Gaddock Teeg can come out. Dryad Militant can most likely come out. Maybe drop a Thalia on the draw, and that takes us down to 60. That seems pretty good. Force of Vigor for Needles. That's a pretty great piece of advice. Questing Beast. Maybe Questing Beast can come out, especially seeing that they have Karakas. It's a little bit annoying. Maybe I don't even use Thalia and just have Council's Judgment. Yeah, I think Beast can go. The one reason I really like Council's Judgment is if our opponent has Dark Depths and Hexmage, if we cast Council's Judgment, they really can't do anything, because if they use Hexmage on Dark Depths to make a 20/20, then they have to exile the 20/20, but... Maybe Qasali is unnecessary because we're boarding Force. Yeah. I guess because we have Ouphe as well, then Qasali is just a little bit worse. Mums are still great. Teferis are okay, especially at bouncing. It also means they can't crop in our turn. Uro, maybe we don't need 2 Uros. Maybe this is fine. I don't mind this. This is quite nice. Don't really want to drop a land. I want to make sure we're hitting all the land drops. Yeah, I think Uro is really there just for a bit of advantage in... Getting above 20 life as well is pretty relevant. +1 Thalia, -1 Library. The one reason I really like Library is that we can just pay 8 straight away. This deck's going to kill us whether we're at 4 life or 16 life, probably in one hit. This hand's pretty nice. So we do have the Swords to Plowshares, which is always nice. We do have the ability to Green Sun straight away for Dryad Arbor to give us access to Council's Judgment or Night on turn 2, which is pretty good. Yeah, it's fair enough. I guess that Fast Steps does have a lot of cheap mana. And like there you saw we got to get the win because it had to pay for the Not of This World. And even if they had a second one, they couldn't pay for it. So I'm actually going to keep this. Inquisition, okay. So as nice as it would be to hold up Veil, I kind of just want to go for Savannah into Dryad Arbor here, and then next turn if they play, like, if they do go for Dark Depths into Hexmage, Council's Judgment is just a great answer, so... Savannah into Dryad Arbor. Okay. I guess they could Hem us if they play him. Okay, Sylvan Scrying. Okay. Not too bad. We get to play Knight next turn. Yeah, that's very true. I'm gonna go for another fetch. Get out my Trop. No, I'm gonna go for Trop. I have to. So I guess we just hope my opponent doesn't have Tundra It's actually pretty tough. They have to deal with the knight. Decay, okay. There is not a bog in this 75. Another knight is pretty great because it means we can hold up Veil of Summer. Safekeeper. Safekeeper's fine. I don't want to fetch here, because if my opponent responds with Abrupt Decay, then I can't Veil, so I'm just going to untap. Green Suns. Definitely play a land for turn. And then we can fetch for another white source. I think I'm going to get Scryb Ranger with this Green Suns. I think that's the best play. I'm happy to 1-for-1 with the Safekeeper. And now we can go for Scryb Ranger, which is pretty nice. I can attack here. Why is Scryb good? Scryb gives me access to untapping the knight. Which was a little bit risky there because I could have Abrupt Decay. But it also gives me a flyer just in case I need it. It also means that if our opponent goes for the combo with something like Thespian Stage, if they play Thespian Stage, we can tap Knight, go for Wasteland, and then untap it again. Elvish Visionary is going to be fine. Hey, Matsol. Yeah, play around that Decay. I'm sorry. I definitely should be. This is fine. Ghost Quarter. Interesting. I guess my opponent could have Crop Rotation if they want to Ghost Quarter their own land, but I could also go after the Urborg. I definitely want to use my Knight. Maybe I'm happy actually just to hold it here. Now untap. Oof. Oof doesn't do a whole lot on this board. Just use Not twice. Yeah, I could use Not twice as well. So I can attack for 7. If they don't block, we can Wasteland the Urborg. I just want to try them taking off a little bit of mana. Interesting. I could also untap the Knight, return a land, Wasteland myself to put him down to 3, but I don't think that's worth it. Maybe it is. So if we untap this, return the Dryad Arbor. Maybe I want to sack the Dryad Arbor. Maybe that's just a little bit cute. Yeah, no, that's fair. I think just attacking here is fine. We can play a land. We can cast Ouphe. I probably want to untap Knight here as well. And then just pass. The one card I'm scared of is what's the 2-mana sorcery that allows you to sacrifice a creature as part of the cost and then deal damage? Probably just going to get Canopy here and draw a card. I could have actually floated a mana. Maybe that was incorrect not to float the mana, because then I could hold up Veil as well. Rite of Consumption. There we go. Hierarch. Alright, let's start by drawing a card. Birds. Let's play a land for turn. Go to attacks. I guess my opponent can block with Reclaimer and then sack for a protection land. But I guess that's okay. I can still attack with these two. Because if my opponent goes to try to go for it, we can just untap the Knight and get a Wasteland. Crop rotation, okay. Looks like they're going for it. Interesting. Because now we can untap Knight. Oh, okay. What if we return this and they Ghost Quarter this? That's actually fine because we have basics in the deck. We'll float a green. Sack this. Wasteland. I guess we can wait for this to become the Dark Depths, which is correct. So what happens here is Thespian Stage copies Dark Depths. Thespian Stage becomes a copy of Dark Depths. They have two copies of Dark Depths with one with counters on it, one with no counters on it. They sack the one with counters on it to leave the one with no counters on it, and then that triggers to become a 20/20 or release the 20/20, and that's when you can Wasteland it. So yeah, we can wait for the legendary trigger. So we can wait for one to go to the graveyard. They choose which one they keep, and now we can Wasteland. What this does is it gets rid of both lands instead of just getting rid of the Dark Depths or the Thespian Stage, because if we If we respond to them targeting the Dark Depths by hitting the Dark Depths, they keep the stage. If we respond by hitting the stage, they keep the Dark Depths. So this way, at least, they go down to one land, and then we get to deal with both. Nice to get the win. Opponent pretty unlucky there. They kind of had a pretty slow start for a fast depths combo. Like that was the first time we saw the combo itself, and that was turn 8 to 10. Dancing Jesus, very nice. How has Uro been? We haven't cast it. We have not cast it. It sounds great. We'll keep this. It's a turn 2 Oko if we really want it. All right, let's go for Verdant. Probably just getting a Savannah here and relying on the Noble Hierarch for green. Yeah, so if we get Savannah here instead of Trop, it means that next turn we can definitely cast the Thalia even if we don't have the Noble Hierarch around. What did we lose to? We went down to Breach. 3 swords to Plowshares. Sadly, yes, Julian. We are on the 3 swords. I did put one on the board. I apologize to the Maverick community. Interesting, just a pass. Okay, well this is a pretty easy slam for Oko. And then just a tick up to create a food. I think Reclamation's really cool in this deck. I think Reclamation is really powerful, especially with Teferi, Oko, and Uro. Yeah, it's very different. It's nearly getting away from being Maverick. I think here I need to start probably beating down a little bit. We can slow our opponent down by playing Thalia first, so they can't crop rotation away this this Cloud Post. Collector Ouphe seems really good as well, but I might try to hide Collector Ouphe for as long as possible. You want Reclamation at instant speed? That's why we play Teferi. So second main, let's go for Thalia. And now we can Wasteland. A pretty good start. I mean, a pretty stellar start. Turn 2 Oko, turn 3 Thalia, and a Wasteland. Still a lot of pressure. I think actually Honorog played it a fair bit in some version of Miracles. But I'm a huge fan. I think it's... Like, personally, I think it's the sleeper white card in Legacy. Another Oko. Interesting. I wonder if they actually have a main deck out to Collector Ouphe. We also have the ability to Green Suns for Dryad Arbor. Not the greatest. I think we definitely attack first. Probably just make another food. And then the following turn we can make it a 3-3. And attack for 10. So let's just play Ouphe. I think Ouphe's just so good in this deck, especially against the Cloud Post deck. Most likely playing some number of... Oh, interesting. Cloud Post, okay. Trying to get a bit of ramp going, that's fine. Vesuva, copy. Now they have 3 mana. Elvish. Interesting. Okay. Pretty cool. Another Cloud Post is pretty good. Knight. We can steal this, but is that good enough? The fires have definitely died down, which is great in Australia. I know they're still going on, but I think they're all contained, which is great. So this is rough because I really need mana. I need to get to probably Gaddock Teeg to stop something like Aula's Dust next turn or Ulamog. Sorry, Ugin. Elking food seems better. I am in Australia, yes. I could switch the Oko with the Elvish with this and give them the food, but I don't think that's worth it. Yeah, pretty sad. A lot of koalas passed away in the fires. I don't think I cast anything here. I think I just keep my hand open. Because if my opponent doesn't have a sweeper, then I don't want to just put more creatures on the board. 3, 6, 9, 10 mana. I definitely feel an Aula's Dust or Ugin coming. Which is pretty sad. His hand was pretty fantastic, but not drawing into those extra land drops just to be able to green suns for something like Gaddock Teeg or... Really just Gaddock Teeg, that's the big card. I think Gaddock Teeg with Collector Ouphe is pretty good because it also stops Walking Blister. Golos. Oof, okay. I'm really happy they didn't get Tabernacle because that would be pretty rough. Up to 14? Okay. Needle's gonna resolve. Okay. Windswept Heath. Maybe a little bit too slow. I guess if we attack with the Thalia, maybe they block it. And then we can actually green suns for Gaddock Teeg. Okay, this is actually a nice win. Let's go for Trop. Teeg helps a lot. So now Walking Blister's turned off. Ugin's turned off. Aula's Dust is turned off. But I guess like a hardcast Emrakul isn't, or Ulamog? Yeah. Sadly, that's just game. Rough. Good start, but just too slow of a clock. I think Force of Vigor is fine here. The extra swords probably isn't worth it. Reclamation is interesting. Palace Jail is pretty interesting. I think Jail is pretty good. We can probably just take out the 3 mums. I don't think they'll have too much to do in this matchup. Dryad Militant's probably also a little bit of a hedge, and Scavenging Ooze probably isn't the greatest. Blister was turned off with Collector Ouphe, which is nice. And Judgment actually seems pretty good. Maybe Reclamation's worth it. Especially if they have... Does Aula's Dust just, is sacrificed, so stuff goes to the yard, and Ugin is... I think Ugin is sacrifice? Yeah, Judgment is also, just in case they play Khan, and we don't have a creature out. It's a pretty nice way to deal with some of their Planeswalkers. I assume this deck is going to be running a Khan package. Dovin's Veto is interesting, but I don't think we'd be in a position to hold up mana. I think we'd rather just play out spells and hope they actually do something. So I'm pretty happy to see how this goes. Veto is interesting. I might think about it during this game. Everything else kind of has its place. We'll play first. And this hand is pretty good. It's a turn 2 knight, which is nice. Ugin is exile. Okay. When will we get Maverick merchandise? Julian, we'll have to work on something. Also, Julian, did you get your site back up? Let me check. Is that just a an issue with your provider? I would love Knight as a fighter jet. That would be very cool. Knight as a fighter jet would be pretty cool. No idea usually this comes back again. Okay. Once. Most likely naming Wasteland. Oko. Okay. Maybe they have another one. We can't cast it, but still, that's pretty hilarious. Let's go for Knight. They do have another one. Rough. I wonder if they name Knight or name Wasteland. They probably name Wasteland. Yeah. Verdant. Okay. We can do some pretty cool stuff this turn because we can go and get Cradle. Play a land. Play Knight. And then we can Cradle for 3. 4 mana, pays for Scryb Ranger and Library. Okay. Gonna fetch up a Trop. Play Scryb Ranger, play Library. Play Scryb Ranger. I'm gonna untap, return the Trop. Attack. Cradle's pretty good. Now we really need to find Force of Vigor. Force of Vigor pitching Oko would actually be really nice. I also have the ability just to untap Knight, return this, sack the Dryad Arbor, and just go and get a bunch of lands to make these 2 Knights bigger. Which might even just be lethal next turn, nearly. 8, 12... Let's try that. Let's untap, return this, sack this, get Windswept, fetch out a... I guess we kind of want to get a Trop. Savannah, okay. Qasali's pretty nice. Qasali means we can take care of the Pitting Needle naming Wasteland. Maybe we can just kill them. So if we play Savannah, play Qasali, sack it to Pithing Needle, we can't... I guess we can attack with both of these as 7/7s, untap 1, get a Wasteland ourselves? I believe that works. So let's put on top and pay for this. So let's go Savannah. Play Qasali. Tap a bunch of mana. Qasali blow up this one naming Wasteland. We can also just double Wasteland our opponent. Because if we attack, we then untap 1 before damage. Sack a land. No, it's 18. It is 18 because we can sack a land and then also Wasteland ourselves, which is 3 more, which makes them 9/9s, which is 18 damage. Perfect. Perfect. Whew. I think we just run this back. I don't think the vetoes are something I want on the draw. So if I don't want them on the play, I probably don't want them on the draw. As good as it might be. I also like the plan that ends the game this turn the best. Yeah, let's just run it back. It's just... Artifact. Cool. A little bit slow, but I don't mind it. Green Suns is pretty nice. It is a little bit slow, but I don't think I complain. I can't complain. I have all the mana in the world to cast all my spells. We have a 1-drop, a 2-drop, a 3-drop, so I'm going to keep this. But it doesn't have any, it doesn't have Wasteland, it doesn't have like Collector Ouphe or Gaddock Teeg, but the Green Suns does represent that, and the Knight represents Wasteland, so... I do like this Cloudpost deck with Once Upon a Time. I think it's a pretty great card for this. Ooh, nothing. Savines, hey, okay. Sack this, get a Savannah. Green Suns for Dryad Arbor. Interesting, a slow start from my opponent. Noble. I still like Knight here. This is match 3. Do I want to keep the fetch? I don't think I want to keep the fetch. I could keep it for Sylvan Library, but I think we're just going to be paying for Sylvan Library anyway. So we don't really have to consider the shuffle. Oh, next turn we can Wasteland them and then Reclamation back the Wasteland if they don't have an answer for Wasteland. Explore's gonna be fine. Wow, they missed a land drop off Explore. I guess we just start beatdown here. Gonna fetch for a drop here and then attack for 6. Wow. That's sad. Force is nice. We can actually hard cast it as well. Crop's gonna be fine. Okay. I mean, they might have the elf here, which gives them a blocker. Okay. But now we have Reclamation. Now we have Reclamation. Maybe last turn I should have just cast the Reclamation. Attack for 3. Alright, so now we can float a green, sack this, get a Wasteland, Wasteland them, and then use the green floating to cast Reclamation, get back Wasteland. Such a sweet card. Wasteland them. Okay. We can also get back Wasteland next turn as well with Reclamation Flashback. Ugh. Very nice. So obviously our opponent just stumbled there, which is pretty rough. A land drop? Could have made a land drop as well. That's very true. Ooh, if I had to cosplay one of the cards in Maverick, which one would it be? I think Gaddock Teeg would be kind of cool. Like an old guy in like a really nice like old school suit with like a cigar. Just like, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's a good question. Qasali Pridemage would be pretty cool. With that big stick. Or the spear, whatever he's holding. That's an interesting one. What would you go as? Teeg reminds you of Bernie? The legendary double stream is most likely not happening because I do have some plans this afternoon. There's a place in Brisbane called the Powerhouse and they do free comedy on Sunday nights, which is cool. So we're going to go there, have some drinks with some friends, have some good food, and listen to some jokes, which is good times. I would love to do like a 12-hour stream and just go through like Green White Maverick, Green White Black Maverick, Punishing Maverick, BANT Maverick, 4-color Maverick. That'd be very cool. Teeg is definitely not for... He's very discriminative. Scavenging Ooze? Classic. What would you bring as a way to show that you have counters on you? I guess for every drink you have, you add a counter to like your hat or something. That'd be pretty funny. Green Sun Zenith would be a cool cosplay. Just like a big X in front of you. I'd glue dice all over me. Hey, actually, I saw you were playing Elves recently, and you really enjoyed it. I saw that you weren't a big fan of Elvish Reclaimer, and you kind of missed Nettle Sentinel, especially on your Glimpse chains. It was just a little bit rough. On the play against Beekeeper, we will start. And again, this hand is fine. It's a turn 2 Thalia for the unfair decks. It's a turn 3 Knight for the fair decks, and then Questing Beast to follow it up is really nice. So pretty happy to keep this. The Windswept Heath will probably get a tropical island just to make sure we have blue mana at the start as well. Yeah, definitely. I feel like Plague Engineer's on the downfall because all the decks that hit it, people have kind of moved away from them for now. So Delver, okay. Now this is an interesting turn. Dryad Militant. I think here I'm actually happy to go for a... This could be Bug. It's probably most likely Grixis Delver. So I think I'm happy to play around Daze and just go for a... Go for Forest, Wasteland our opponent, and then play Dryad Arbor. Dryad Militant, just because that was the draw for turn. Which is also pretty nice against a deck that's most likely running Dreadhorde Arcanist. Unless they're on bug. It's very good versus Angler, that's very correct. Another Delver. Okay. Daze is pretty good. And we definitely attack here. If they both flip, then the 2 damage goes lost, and if they don't flip, I don't think they will attack into the Dryad Militant, because they didn't just then. But if these both flip right now, it's going to be pretty tough. They don't. Interesting. That's a huge layoff for us. Flip Delvers against Maverick can be pretty broken, because we only have our 4 Swords Plowshares. I guess Scryb Ranger is pretty nice, but you have to draw into it. Windswept. So in case my opponent is on Fatal Push... Actually, is Revolt only your opponent's things? If I Windswept Heath here, and then play Knight, can they Fatal Push the Knight, or is it only their things? I think either way I might... Canopy doesn't change the clock. 6, 12, 18. I think I'm happy to play around Stifle. Get a Trop. Play Knight. Force. Okay. Well, the Delvers are most likely flipping next turn. We will be attacking for 6 as well, most likely with this Questing Beast, so hopefully that stays around. Yeah, I like what Julian said. I like the cantrips in the version with Daze, or like the True Name Nemesis kind of builds with maybe like Jace. Goyf's pretty nice. Just a nice blocker. Verdant. Pretty tough because Verdant or Canopy, either way we go to 9. Yeah, I'd love to see some sort of BANT natural order deck with Ice Fangs and natural order. That'd be really cool to see. I don't think we have a way out of this. We can't even draw into Swords to Plowshares. So, if we take this, we can't fetch. And I think our only way out of this is somehow draw swords and then draw swords off the Horizon Canopy. So I think I kind of have to block here. Maybe next time I don't even get the chance to block. Tough though. Yeah. Rough. Against this deck, I don't mind Veil. I don't mind the extra swords as well, and the Judgment, just in case they're playing True Name. Probably don't need the Qasali Pridemage, the Gaddock Teeg, the Collector Ouphe. Dryad Militant's actually kind of nice against their Tarmogoyfs. Beast is interesting. Jail is also interesting, but if they're on the True Name plan, then Palace Jailer can really come back to hurt me. Huh. Beast does seem kind of meh, and I assume they are playing Angler, so maybe that is the card that I take out. I still think Sylvan Library as a 2-of is quite nice, especially if the first one gets countered. Teferis are great at buying time, Oko's great at buying time, Uro seems great, even just the life gain. I might just try this and see how it goes, and if there is a third game, we can come back and look at the sideboard a little bit more. This is okay. I'm gonna keep this, especially with the 2 libraries. If one gets countered, that's okay. I think where this kind of version of BANT Maverick really shines is that it gets out these turn 3 Planeswalkers a turn earlier than everyone else, thanks to Noble Hierarch and Birds of Paradise. So although we are most likely going to be facing a lot of Oko decks in general, we do get them out a turn earlier, which can be very nice. On top of that, our 3/3s attack with Exalted into their 3/3s, which is kind of nice. I'm gonna do a giveaway after this game. I have some boosters from Theros Beyond Death, which is pretty good. So I'm gonna do a follower giveaway. So if you do like my content, definitely think of dropping a follow. Reminds me of when Rock's Warmonk attacked as a 5/6 with lifelink. Rock's Warmonk is very cool. I kind of wish it was still valid. All right. Could see a Fatal Push on this. Thoughtseize. Okay, not too bad. Luckily, we do have the 2 Sylvan Libraries. Probably taking the Teferi here. If I win, can you ship it to Brazil? 100%. I think I have shipped to Brazil. I've definitely shipped overseas. Interesting, they took 1 library. That makes me think they're going to force the next one. Which is going to be fine. If I drew a land there, I'd consider a lot more the Wasteland and then play Library. Maybe they play Abrupt Decay. I could see them playing Abrupt Decay. Maybe that's why they kept the second library. They have Abrupt Decay in hand. I think I'm happy to Wasteland here, just to play around Days, or even just to save their own land. It also turns them off Decay if that was their answer. Okay. Three cards left for my opponent. Wasteland. Will they go after my land? They will, okay. So if we draw a land, we can just go for Birds of Paradise. Swords. Okay, let's go for Dryad Arbor. Nothing? Classic. Land? Knight. Interesting. Alright, let's go for Scoos. And then pass. Cradle would be really nice. Oof. Fatal Push. Okay, taking me off white. This is a weird game. Oh, another land? Rough. This looks like Gomag. Oh, Fatal Push. Okay, going after my mana as well. Interesting. There we go. Two cards left for my opponent. I guess like land True Name would be pretty good. We do have the upside of having Mum, but this looks like Gomag. Okay. All right. Now, if they didn't have removal last turn, what's the thought of them having removal this turn? I think we can take... I think just because Cradle's so good, I don't want to open myself to getting hit here. So I'm happy just to take this and use my life as a little bit of a resource. I don't think Thalia is best here. I think it's better to hold up Scoos. Because if we take out Dryad Arbor here, we take out Creature, which makes the Goyf a 4/5. It also makes the Scavenging Ooze a little bit bigger. I also have the ability of just hitting them at face. But I think we just pass. I might as well use this now to play around something like Stifle just in case. Probably should use my Wasteland before this. Try to turn off their black mana. Because Fatal Push or Abrupt Decay here is pretty much this game. Yeah. That's rough. It's because if I draw a land here... Okay. Interesting. 5/5. See what they do with the Ponder. Chose not to shuffle. Oof. No attacks? What? So here I can just play another knight. Nice. Okay. And now these knights will be much bigger than our opponent. I don't want to Wasteland here because I don't want to tap a knight. I want to keep them both up, at least for now, and then maybe Wasteland in their end step. Going down to 9 is relevant because it opens up us of just getting a Wasteland and then wastelanding ourselves for lethal next turn. Just from one knight. Plague. So in response, let's just give pro black. And then Plague will resolve. Alright. Sack Savannah. Probably get a fetch land and then just go for Trop. Verdant's pretty nice. Teferi bounce something, but I'm not sure what I want to... I think I definitely want to use this fetch land. Probably getting a Savannah. I do need a white source. Play Teferi. I can bounce this and then double Wasteland them, or I can... no. I can bounce the Gomag, which takes away this, which makes Drown Lock a little bit worse for future ones. I get to draw a card as well. Yeah, it's very true. Okay, because we can Wasteland ourselves, both of these are lethal. So we return Plague Engineer. Very true. That's fine. Chat lethal accurate. Okay. So do we go to a third? Jail is interesting, but I don't think it's worth it. Savine's is interesting, but I'm not sure if it's good enough. I think Savine's is okay. I think we can actually go down on probably a Veil. I kind of like taking out a Veil here because Savine's, of course, can get back whatever they drop. So this is still 60. This seems okay. That was a pretty cool game. Pretty cool start as well. I love it when the Delver play just goes all in on taking us off mana as well. This hand's pretty nice. I'm gonna keep it. Scryb Ranger, of course, with Pro Blue is great against Delver. Karakas. Maybe I'm okay with just swordsing this right now. Hey, Chucky, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. Uro being blue is pretty rough. We really have to rely on the mana dorks for that, or just not getting... I like Karakas here and just getting rid of this Delver. We do have the Scryb, but I really want to just try to make sure we can keep as many threats off their board as much. And getting dazed there isn't too bad. It means that the Scryb Ranger is less likely to get dazed, which is kind of nice. See if they Wasteland us. It's going to be fine. Snow. That's kind of nice because it means we can go basic into Scryb Ranger. Thoughtseize is really nice. If they don't take the Scryb Ranger here, they obviously have a way to deal with it, which is also pretty scary. Taking the Knight, okay. Green Suns. Maybe I don't mind Green Suns here because it also turns on Teferi next turn if we need it. Probably not a better Green Suns target right now either. Hey, TK Tech. In game 3 against Bug Delver, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna get a Birds. Mainly because my opponent on Plague Engineer is most likely going to name Human, so I don't want to get my... I don't want to get it hit later on down the line. Force, okay. Ouphe is pretty good. Oh, Reclamation. Interesting. Cradle, Scryb Ranger. Tap for 2. Tap for green. Untap this, return this. Sorry, tap for blue, sorry. We can make them have... They have to have a blue card now. Or we can Reclamation back Knight. Rec back Knight is pretty nice as well. Maybe I don't mind that. Yeah, I'm going to get back Knight here. Or at least try to. Also plays around Days, which is nice. I guess Teferi does as well, but... And they're going to force this, which is kind of a big win for us. They only have one card left. Definitely take this. They have 2 cards left now. Ooh, Waste on Cradle's pretty good. But we can get it back. Another Goyf? Surely not. Ugh. Alright, no cards in hand. Oko, oof. 2, 3, 4 mana. I don't mind Teferi bounce a Goyf, because then that might take the time away from the Teferi. Oko we can tick up on a Goyf, but then it still dies. We most likely get stuff back for Reclamation anyway at 5. Alright, so let's go for Teferi. Bounce a Goyf. Draw a card. Oh, okay. Untap birds. Play mum. Okay. Now, do they attack us or the Teferi? Most likely us. Attacking with both is interesting. The Scryb Ranger does have pro blue, so... Goyf is fine. The mum with Scryb Ranger can give protection twice, which is really interesting. I kind of don't want to use Scryb Ranger's ability because I want to get to this Reclamation flashback. So maybe I can just play Mum and pass, but then if they have something like Plague Engineer, that's pretty rough. But I guess then they need Land and Plague Engineer, which leaves them with no cards. So maybe after that we can actually win. This is interesting. Maybe Oko up to 6 is good enough. Yeah, let's try Oko. Haha! Well, Pandizzle, I appreciate it very much. Alright. Brainstorm's fine. Hey! That's classic. Far out. Okay, well now we're definitely giving a giveaway. Hey, Nassif, what's happening? Very cool to have you. Hello everyone from Nassif's chat and stream. My name is Dukes on Twitch. I'm a legacy streamer from Australia. We're currently playing BANT Maverick against what looks to be Bug Delver, which is pretty fun. We're currently in a bit of a pickle, so hopefully this does. Okay, so they have 2 cards left, and they're all attacking Oko. So what we can do here is go block here, let this resolve. We can then give this mum pro green. Oko goes to 1. Oko lives, which is nice. Hey, for anyone in this chat as well, I have a follower goal of 1,000, and I'm pretty close. I have 868, so I'm gonna do a giveaway after this game for a few boosters. So if you are a fan of Legacy, I would very much appreciate a follower. A second Delver is okay. We do have the Scryb Ranger and the Bird, which can block again in the hand. Nassif, what were you playing on stream? Ooh, Judgment. Okay. Judgment's pretty sweet. Let's go land. Let's make this Teferi. Let's make a Tamago for 3/3. Hey, Dark Soul, DNS Solver, and Siscore123. Thanks for the follow. Hey, Kilg, thanks for the follow. Okay, so we have double white currently, so let's go for Judgment. Probably on the second Delver. Just because it's a little bit hard to deal with only one Scryb Ranger. Very cool. Hey. Yeah, a pretty sweet view count. That is very true. And the follows are really appreciated as well. But this is definitely a game and a half. We'll see what they flip with the Delver, if they do flip. Daze. Okay, Daze not too bad. Alright, so let's go for Scryb Ranger in front of the Delver. It does have pro blue, which is nice. The mum in front of the Goyf, the mum in front of the Goyf. And now the mums can give pro themselves. I feel like this is going to be a big giveaway as well, which is nice. Pro green, pro green. This all resolves. So we know our opponent has Daze. Wasteland. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. We know they have Daze though, so we can't flash back the Reclamation just yet. I think we make this an Elk, just to have another target. And pass back. Savine's Reclamation is really nice, especially when we have Teferi and another Reliquary in the yard. We just need one more turn. And then we can get there. No attacks. Okay, so that's a huge win. Mum. Okay, so let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cast Reclamation. Targeting Teferi and Knight. If they go for Daze here, we can use Scryb Ranger to untap the birds, returning a land and adding 1 mana, which is really cool. If you're looking for the deck list, you can actually bring it up over here. Over here is the cardboard live function, so you can actually pull this up and look at the deck, which is Very cool. So big shout out to the Cupboard Live guys. And we're going to get there. Okay, nice. So Reclamation there just showing a nice bit of... Really good for the grind. Alright, let's do a giveaway. Alright. If you type Maverick in chat, I'm just going to give away 3 boosters at a time. So we have a Theros booster here. I'll send this anywhere in the world, of course. So if you are wanting to get this booster, yeah, just get that Maverick chat going. A huge thank you to my sponsors, actually. Well, I'll just talk about them. So Card Hoarder, of course, let me borrow all these cards ad hoc, which is really nice. So a huge thank you to Card Hoarder. If you do want to support the channel, you can actually use my link in my description below, which is cool. And then also to MTG Mate, which is a Australian online card seller. You can get 5% off singles with the code DUGS, which is really cool. A lot of Maverick love there. Very cool. The loss was in the first game to Breach, unfortunately. We're bidding on a booster of Theros Beyond. And hopefully, whoever wins it is happy for me to actually open it on chat as well. I will, of course, send you the contents. The last booster we opened on stream was actually a Teferi and a foil Massacre Girl, which is very cool. Very, very cool. But yeah, a huge thank you to everyone who's followed, who likes the stream. Very cool to have some big guys in here, like it's Julian. I believe the Everyday Eternal podcast is coming back with Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher, which is very cool. So big shout out to that podcast because it is one of the best, of course. Alright, we'll give you guys another 15 seconds. If you want to be in this giveaway, it's Eternal Glory! I'm sorry. Well, a big shout out to Everyday Eternal anyway. The one who copied your logo? Okay, I apologize. Hey, Demonic Tudor, thanks man. Thank you very much for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. Alright, 5 more seconds for Maverick. Real KK, thanks for the follow. Big fan. Alright. Let us go for the winner. 3 more seconds. 2, 1. The giveaway is Malculix. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, but a huge winner. A huge congratulations. Would you like this to be opened on stream, or would you like me to send it to you? Sent to you. Open it? Okay, let's open it. That's very cool. Julian. Alright. Let's quickly go through these. Okay, so we got Stampede Rider as the first common. We then have Nyxborn Courser, very cool. We then have Vexing Gull, great card. Aspect of Manticore. Apologies, the screen isn't that great. Gift of Strength, okay. Rage Scarred Berserker, interesting. Revoke Existence, nice. Flummoxed Cyclops. I'm getting these names. We did just win the match we played, which is really nice. Inspiring Awe, very cool. Unknown Shores, unknown. The first uncommon is Heroes of the Revel. We then have Hero of the Wilds. Careless Celebrant, and the rare is going to be... Oh, it's an Ox. Nice. Ox of Agonos. The card behind is a mountain, and then we have a human soldier. So, nice. Ox is pretty good. Ox is pretty nice. That's pretty cool. I'm going to save these two. So I'm going to have one after this next game, and then I'll have one for my followers as well. So if you want to get on this one, if you follow me, I'll use a third-party app to choose a random follower of mine and open this as well after, which is very cool. So let's try to get this 4-1. Band's pretty cool. Band's pretty fun. It's done pretty well so far. The mana has been pretty good. I thought the mana might be a little bit of an issue, but the one thing I will say with my list is you should be playing with Misty Rainforest over Verdants because you can get Tundra off Misties. I just didn't have the cash to get them, you know? Pretty tough. But, yeah, it should be pretty fun. If anyone who's watching plays Legacy and has a cool scene, let me know. It's always nice to hear about the different Legacy communities around the world. But yeah, Ox is a sweet rare. So congratulations. Playable. I believe it's kind of brought back Dredge in Modern. Ox seems pretty fantastic in that deck. Hey, Foodline, thanks for the follow. Okay, up against B-Garbs. How has Uro been? We haven't drawn it. Unfortunately, we haven't drawn Uro yet. And we haven't had a real need to Green Suns for it either. But I feel like when it comes, it'll be really nice. Hey, Aspiring Spike. So this is a interesting hand. We currently have a green source in Dryad Arbor, which does have Summoning Sickness as it is a creature. So I'm actually not sure if I will keep this. We do have 2 more land drops in Wasteland. We could draw into a fetch land or a dual land to cast the Sylvan Library on turn 2 if we lead with Wasteland, but I think this hand's a little bit mediocre. I really want to at least have a turn 1 play that I have in my opening hand. I don't want to rely on drawing into a land, so I'm going to mulligan this. And this is actually a great hand, and it has Uro. So I'm going to keep this. But what am I going to drop? I kind of want to drop the Uro because everything else kind of has a bit of a plan to it. Dryad Militant's really good against the Breach decks in game 1. Probably better than Thalia just because they can combo through Thalia. So that's pretty interesting. The Noble I'm definitely keeping with Savannah and a land. If I wanted to be really greedy, I could bottom a land, but I think here because my turn 1 play is Noble and then most likely a 3-drop, I'm pretty happy to drop Green Sun, drop Dryad Arbor, drop Dryad Militant in the bottom because we can Green Suns for it later. If needed, and we can also Green Suns for it pretty cheaply as well. Misty, Underground Sea, okay. Delver, okay, another Delver deck. Opponent also mulled to 6, okay. Interesting, Scoos. Okay, let's go for Noble Hierarch here. Coronavirus. Oh god, Coronavirus has made it into my follow chat. Daze is pretty good, especially if it follows up with a Wasteland. That's a pretty huge setback for us. Alright. See what happens here. Oh, it's not? Okay, apologies. Thoughtseize nice here. I assume they take the Thalia because it's probably the most disruptive spell here. We don't have the 3rd land yet for Uro or Knight. Uro, of course, can be used from the yard as well, so I think it's most likely going to be Thalia here. Next time we have the Scoos, which is nice, but it's not the greatest threat against this deck. But this will be interesting. Taking the Scoos, okay. Maybe they then have an answer for the Thalia, which is a little bit scary. They kind of must because the Delver currently is a 1/1, so if it doesn't flip, then the Thalia is going to be a pretty nice blocker with first strike. Daze, okay. I could have played Dryad Arbor there and passed if I wanted to play around Daze and play a bit of a longer game, but I think just because of how much Thalia would have had an impact on the game, it would have been pretty nice to have. Thoughtseize is pretty nice here as well. Probably taking Knight. Uro is interesting, but it is something we can use from the yard as well, so I expect the Knight to go. We also have to draw into a blue source here if we want to cast it. And we don't. So maybe I'm actually happy just going for Green Suns for Birds of Paradise here because it's a blocker down the road for the Delver and it also can cast the Uro next turn if we're lucky enough. Come on, Uro. Uro is nice because it does give us a bit of a turn. Goyf. Okay, Goyf's pretty nice as well. Swords. Interesting. I think I definitely like Uro first because we can draw off it. So there it is, the first Uro. The first Uro of the stream. We will definitely draw first. Do we draw a land? We do. Cradle. Okay. I think I'm happy to keep this swords for now, because I'm not sure what I want to deal with. If we draw into a Scryb Ranger, then I'm pretty happy to actually use the swords on the Tarmogoyf, but the Delver can be a bit of an issue. There's also the chance that I want to use the swords now while my opponent is tapped out. And I think it actually is going to be on the Goyf. However, if we draw into a blue source, then it's just a little bit better. No, I like swords on Goyf here because they're tapped out. They can't daze it, which is nice. They can't force it because they only have one hand. And Uro also attacking each turn does kind of mitigate the attack of Delver. So really just hoping here for a blue source. Scryb Ranger also does it because we can untap the birds for a second blue source. This looks like a Gomag Angler. Oh, Fatal Push. Okay, so going after my blue mana. Interesting. Green Suns. Oh, we would have got it as well. Maybe I just want to go for Knight here. Thank you. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? I think Green Suns for Knight is fine. However, Green Suns for Scryb Ranger does slow down the Insectile Aberration. Let's quickly look at what we have. I guess we could do Green Suns for another Uro, but I guess it draws us a card. I'm going to say Uro, because it also gains us 3 life, which is kind of nice. I'm not playing around Daze. We can't really play around Daze. We're definitely getting a 3-drop. So Uro gets us a card, but Knight can get us a green source. Sorry, a blue source. And if we draw into a blue source, then we can cast the Uro from the yard. I don't mind getting Knight here. It's a little bit better, and the second Uro is a little bit worse. I could Green Suns for Ranger, but I think just going for Knight here is going to win me the game, whereas getting Scryb Ranger might just be, I don't want to lose the game. Yeah, I think it is. I think I just want to see how it is in this deck. I feel like it's better in the Mox Diamond sort of Loam decks. Yeah, Scryb Ranger would just be a bit of a blocker, so I like getting the Knight because it also gives us an answer to hopefully getting blue mana. Yeah, not what we want, but we can cast it. I guess I should have drawn a card first, with Horizon Canopy perhaps. Or over 2 turns I can just get Uro. So maybe that's actually better. We don't run Maze. You can see the deck list on the stream. You can see it over here for the Cardboard Live function. Okay, so plan here is to get Uro online next turn, and then also have it protected from Force of Will, which is kind of cool. Wasteland and Green Mana is pretty nice as well. I think because Uro and Knight are 2 good answers for Tarmogoyf, I'm not too scared of the Bayou being in play. Alright. Maybe I don't want to fetch here for the other blue source, because maybe I want to increase my chances of drawing into one, and then I can fetch for the other. So we might untap here. Scryb Ranger, still very nice. So let's go for sack for a trop. Play Scryb Ranger. A great answer for Insect Elaboration, and they can't force a will it because of the Gaddock Teeg. And now we can sack Savannah. Get a fetch land, and then get another blue source. Tundra's fine. And now we can go blue, mana, Uro, exile Swords to Plowshares, Birds, Noble, Ooze, Thalia. Of course it's the last game we wait for to actually get it into play. Yes! Yes! That is the response I want. That is the response I want. I guess it is pretty tough to get back from that. Alright. Let's go to the board. So last time I believe we liked... Hey, Goblin Lackey, welcome to the stream. For those of you who don't know Goblin Lackey 1, he is a very good Legacy Goblins streamer. You can catch him at twitch.tv/GoblinLackey1. You can also see him on Patreon. He has some really good Goblins content. And on Twitter, he shares a lot of stuff. So if you're on Twitter, definitely give him a follow. And if you see him on Twitter, definitely give him a... Sorry, on Twitch, definitely give him a follow. We're currently 3-1 playing against Bug Delver for the 4-1. But luckily, yeah, Nassif came in and gave us a nice little bump of of players, which is cool. So let's go for Council's Judgment, Reclamation. We like swords. 1 Veil. We can take out Beast, Pridemage, Teeg, Ouphe. Ordering new Mav as we speak. Very cool. Very cool. When are you back on stream, Julian? Next. I think this is fine. We did think about the second Veil in previous games. I guess it does also stop Fatal Push, which is actually quite nice. So maybe it's second Library. Actually, Dryad Militant. Dryad Militant was nice because it also stops Gomag a little bit and does stop the bleeding from Tarmogoyf. Hey, Dreadnought. Yeah, very cool. Got a nice little buffer from Nassif, which is cool. I'm going to go down on a Library. As good as Library is, I think we can't be too aggressive with it in this matchup. Burn is here. Okay. This hand's really nice as like a mid-range hand, but against the Delver deck, I'm a little bit hesitant to only have a play on my 3rd turn, so as nice as this could be, I think I have to mulligan this. The thing is, if my opponent starts on Ponder Shuffle off like a dual land, I'm more than happy just to Wasteland the first couple of turns, and then also have the Knight to start with. I think because we're up a game, I'm going to see how this plays out. I would not recommend people keeping this hand against the Delver player, but if our opponent doesn't start on a Delver, then it's okay. Even if they Thoughtseize us, it's not that bad because we get to Wasteland. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I would definitely consider mulling this, but it looks like a fetch pass. Interesting. Green Suns. Okay, Green Suns is actually really nice here, because now we get to... I'm pretty happy getting a Savannah here. I could also go for basic, but... Yeah, I'm just going to go for a basic. And Green Suns for Dryad Arbor. This hand is very suspect. Do not get me wrong. Okay. So now we get ahead on mana, so Wastelanding isn't as bad. Probably a Bayou? Maybe a Trop? Okay. Bitter Blossom. Interesting. Trop. I kind of like taking my opponent off lands here. Probably off green, just so they can't put out too many threats. But I also have to be on the lookout of my opponent just making use of their graveyard and casting Gomag Angler off 1 black. Ponder's fine. Hopefully see a shuffle here. We did take out Questing Beast, so that's a bit of an issue with the Bitter Blossom. We also don't have Qasali Pridemage in the deck anymore. So Bitter Blossom's going to be pretty good. They chose not to shuffle, okay. Fatal Push, okay. Thalia. I don't mind Thalia. Interesting, they did 6 there, so it obviously means they don't have a Force or something like a Daze in hand. Hey, thanks Julian, all the best. Hopefully see you on stream soon. At least if my opponent taps out for a Goyf here, this Knight's going to come into play next turn, which is nice. Oh, actually, Judgment's a really nice answer for the Bitter Blossom. But for now, we're just going to go with the Knight. We can't cast either of these 2 spells because of Thalia. Knight actually comes down as a 5/5 as well, which is relevant because the Goyf currently is only a 4/5. Bitter Blossom's interesting. We don't have a great answer to it that's clean. We don't have any sort of sweepies in the deck either. They did keep the Ponder from last turn, so I assume this Delver... Actually, they fetched after the Ponder, so... Delver's not going to flip. We are currently 3-1, and up a game against Bug Delver. So, hopefully, we see some action out of this. Alright. One nice thing about Council Judgment is that it actually exiles the Bitter Blossom, meaning that Tribal and Enchantment doesn't go to the graveyard. Unless they Thoughtseize. Okay, they're going to Ponder. Okay. So, one thing to note is that if they Ponder here and don't shuffle, the Delver most likely flips next turn. Pretty tough spot, because next turn, this Bitter Blossom play definitely takes up a whole turn, so not really doing anything. Another Goyf would be pretty huge. Yeah, wow. What does blue give us over black? Nothing. Sadly for go wide strategies, blue gives us nothing. We can play Marrow Shards. That is a card. Marrow Shards is either 2 life or pay 1 white. it deals 1 damage to all attacking creatures, which is pretty funny. But sadly, I think it might be a little bit too late here. We'll probably see an attack here for 6 in the air at least. Thoughtseize is pretty good as well. Can't really stop that. Oko. Interesting, okay. Probably hitting the knight here. Maybe we don't... Yeah, I think we just concede here and try to get some more game time. Unfortunately, that's pretty rough. The Bitter Blossom was really nice. So maybe for that, I don't bring in the Qasali Pridemage, I just bring in the Questing Beast. Hurricane would work. Hurricane would be a good one. Maybe I don't want to 1-for-1 myself with the Questing Beast. Sorry, with the Qasali Pridemage. Maybe Questing Beast is just the better answer? You don't like Library against Delver? I don't mind it, especially against the non-red versions that aren't as aggressive. I think even the Scry 3 ability at times can be really nice. Especially if we want to try to dig for something like Swords to Plowshares. Maybe the Qasali is just worth it. We do have ways to deal with Bitter Blossom, but they're not great. Yeah, it is pretty tough. Sometimes you just pay the full life and then it comes back to bite you in a few turns. So I definitely don't like Palace Jailer because of Bitter Blossom. But I think we have enough answers to it that maybe we just run this back and see how it performs. Hopefully it does okay. We did keep a pretty suspect hand of just the 2 3-drops and 5 lands, so... Library seems like an overcosted Mirror's Guile in the Delver matchup. Yeah, that's fair enough. I can definitely say that for the like blue-red or Grixis versions. But being able to draw cards is pretty huge. I think there have been times in in Commander where I've had Mirror's Guile and I'm just like, can't I draw these? Come on. Yeah, I think they're a little bit more mid-rangey than the faster variants of Delver. But I'm pretty happy dropping 1. Because I don't really want to see both. I'm happy to keep this. Hold up Veil turn 1, and then we have Thalia turn 2. We could also hold up Veil if we wanted to on turn 2, and then play Thalia through a Daze or Force. I think this is fine. So we can lead on a Trop because we have 2, which is nice. And then probably just lead on the second Trop if we don't want to cast this Thalia straight away. Wasteland. Okay. That's fine. Another Wasteland, okay. That's fine. What do I want to do here? Maybe I want to lead on the Wasteland here. I could hold up Veil of Summer for Thoughtseize, but then I lose my Trop if they have another Wasteland. I think I'm happy to play into the 3rd Wasteland and hold up Veil, then rather play Wasteland and then hopefully draw into a white source next turn to play Thalia. I think I'm actually happy to attack with Mum here, because if they try to hit it, we have the Veil of Summer. I guess if they have days, we get hit pretty hard, but I think I'm happy trying to just cycle this Veil of Summer into a white source. A little bit risky, but we'll see how this plays out. This might actually force them to get a Jewel as well, which we can hit with Wasteland. The issue is if they have days and they save their Underground Sea from a Wasteland here as well. Okay, it doesn't. Nice. And we get the white source. Haha! Okay. I'm happy just Wastelanding here. I think Wasteland's a lot better than Thalia. This deck only plays so many colored spells. Ponder, okay. Hopefully see a shuffle here. It's genius unless they have days, because then they also save their land from Wasteland, which is pretty rough. It also means that the Mum then wouldn't stick around. But I guess Mum by herself isn't really doing too much. They chose not to shuffle, okay. The one thing is as well, if this Mum isn't attacking, it probably shows that we don't actually have a second Veil. Maybe we should have attacked again? Yeah. 100%. That's actually, yeah, that would be hilarious if they then just like untapped and like didn't do anything to the Mum. I think you take the Thalia here. You could take the second swords if you're wanting to Thoughtseize again before you play a second threat. What I really wanted over the past couple of turns was a mana dork, so I could play a mana dork with this mana and then also use my Wasteland as well to get a bit of a mana advantage. And there it is, okay. So I think just to play around days for a little bit, I might actually go for Noble Hierarch here and then just hold up Swords to Plowshares. Just because this Thalia is really the only threat we have going right now, so I don't want to throw it away to a daze. We haven't seen anything like a Himdaturak either from our opponent, so Goif's fine. And I'm happy to throw swords into days here, just to get it off the table. It also means if the swords gets days, then they most likely don't have a backup for the Thalia. Oh, Cradle. Doesn't change a whole lot. It just means that we can probably attack with Noble here. Plague Engineer would be really bad news. That's 100% correct. Maybe that's what they've been setting up for. Hopefully not. Sometimes when people say stuff in chat, it happens, so. Okay. Well, two mana's great. A Ponder is fine. Oh. So I can play the Hierarch and attack for 4. Or I can keep the Hierarch so that I can sword the Plague Engineer if it comes down, and then play the Hierarch the following turn. They chose not to shuffle with the Ponder. So I think actually maybe just attacking for 3 here is fine. And then just passing. Yeah, I think we got a sandbag as well. Sadly. I know that the Goblin Lucky One is not a fan of Plague Engineer either, so I will definitely take your advice of sandbagging. I guess we can at least float some mana. It's kind of a 4-for-1 there, which is pretty rough. Oh, the humanity? Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Oh! No. Close. 1-2, yeah. We can get back Oko? Okay. We can get back Oko. Oh, Thoughtseize first, okay. At least we can flash this back if we draw into a land. I think they're reading this. Okay. Land. If it's not a land, it's kind of cool as well. Okay, Wasteland. I guess we just go for it. Please don't have days. Please don't have days. Oh, they don't. We can use it again. I think we want Wasteland and just take them off the... This is interesting. Maybe I want the Thalia. Do I want them? Okay. Let's have a look about the second one. We can take them off green mana, which is pretty nice. We already have the Wasteland though, so we just have to survive a turn. Maybe I actually want the Horizon Canopy because we get the extra draw. Yeah, actually wasting them off Decay is pretty nice. So even though this Wasteland's tapped, maybe getting back a Decay, another Wasteland here is just going to be good enough. So hit this. And I think we just tick this up to 6 and create a food token instead of making this a 3-3. Although making this a 3-3 isn't that bad either. So if we +1 to 5 and then take 3 and go down to 2 and then go back up to 4, that's actually okay. Just saves a bit of face. 3-3 Ouphe is a lot better than a 5-5 Ouphe. 5-6 Ouphe. The thing is, even though this was quite a Wasteland heavy start, they haven't really stumbled on mana too much. Other than the first Wasteland little bit. Unless they stumble here. I guess they could have Gurmag Angler. Or Bitter Blossom. Okay, Bitter Blossom's pretty good. Scryb Ranger. Create a food. I guess we just cast Scryb Ranger here. We can then attack for 1. Elk the Hierarch is interesting as well. I'm just wanting to understand the purpose of this Wasteland here, and if it's for me to keep them off a green source if they draw into one, or if it's for me to just keep them off as much mana as possible. Cutting them down on one spell is pretty good. 1, 2... Okay, so we still have 1 Wasteland in the deck. So maybe it is okay just to Wasteland here. They did miss a land drop last turn as well, so maybe keeping them off as much mana as possible is what we should be doing. Yeah, especially something like True Name or another Plague Engineer would be pretty brutal. They might have Okos of their own, that's very true. This is fine. I could try to save it if I wanted to throw away one of these creatures, but I'm pretty happy just to allow this to happen. Windswept Heath. Heath not doing a whole lot. It means we can get Dryad Arbor if we wish. I guess we don't lose the Oko if we tick this up to a 3-3. Because they're only attacking for 1 in the next turn. We're also at 9 minutes and they're at 12, so that's something to care about. Dryad Arbor also makes Cradle a little bit better. Graph Cage is fine. It does stop Cage, and I guess it stops Uro and... Oh, I should have actually gone for Dryad Arbor in response. That was a mistake. I just 6'd in response. That's my bad. I apologize. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us, but... Yeah. Hey, episode 25. Welcome to the stream. What do we draw? What do we draw? Something good. Okay, that's not too bad. We can deal with the Goyf if we wish. I don't mind dealing with the Goyf, making Noble a 3-3 and just starting to attack face. And I don't actually mind trading Scryb Ranger for a fairy here just to keep the Oko around. I mean, to be fair, they can't attack with both if they don't have an answer for a creature. So yeah, I think here we just save a... We save Oko? Do we save Oko? I think we do. I think worst case is they have a Gomag Angler. I think Oko is just too good not to have around. Attacking with Scryb could have been correct. Yeah, that's very true as well. To see if they actually block, and then it gives us a bit more information about if the Oko is going to stick around or not. Wasteland's going to be fine. This Bitter Blossom might even just kill them. They're at 3, so they get 3 more turns. Whew. Also, just a reminder, we do have a giveaway after this game. And then also a giveaway for followers. So if you are a follower, a huge thank you. Hopefully this pack is nice for you. We just gave away an Ox in a pack, which is very cool. Very cool to pull out a Mythic. Tough spot. Bitter Blossom would have been really nice, but the Oko really screwed up the damage there. Hey, Ozhoth, thanks for the follow. Hey! I wish I could say your name. Krita Fair, thanks for the sub, that is very cool. A huge thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. That is very nice. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? And we get there. Okay, nice. So we go 4-1, which is pretty cool. Get some treasure chests, which is always nice. The deck felt really nice. I think the one change that I would make, based on feedback from chat, was to have Lavinias in here over the Dovin's Vetoes. I think Lavinia is really nice. And just that it counters all the free mana in Lotus Petals and LEDs. That's really cool. I believe it also stops things like All Is Dust and Ugin, which is pretty cool, because usually they're making more than one mana off each land. But for now, let's do a giveaway. What's it gonna be? It's gotta be Maverick. It's just Maverick again. Alright, so if you guys want to type in Maverick into chat, I will send off this booster to anyone who wins it. Don't care where you are. Hopefully something nice in here. We'll also see what happens if we can open it. So if you're happy for us to open it, that would be very cool. Foxerus, very cool to see you in chat as well. This would be pretty fun. Maverick. A huge thank you again to Card Hoarder, who of course sponsored the channel, and mtgmate.com.au. If you're an Australian, you should definitely check out MTGmate. They have some pretty cool prices on their cards. You can get 5% off with the code DUGS. They also have a really good buy list, so that's pretty sweet. But yeah, this deck did pretty well. The Uros were okay at times when we saw them, but at no time did we really want to like fetch for them with Green Suns. But I think there is a home for Uro in Maverick. It might be probably better suited in a Loam deck, but I still really enjoy it. I'll give you guys another few seconds to put in for the giveaway. We'll see who gets there. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the winner is Pokemon Ki-2. A huge congratulations. Would you like me to open it on stream and see what you get? Is that okay? Also, send me your details in a PM for where you want them sent to, and I will send them to you as well on stream. Okay, here we go. Gotta love that. Gotta love that feeling of the really nice. Some really cool cards in this set, especially the gods. So picking up another god would be very cool. All right, what do we got? We have Indomitable Will. We have Naiad of Hidden Groves. Interesting. Underworld Ragehound. Very cool card. Heliod's Pilgrim. Nice. Underworld Charger. Cool. Nylea's Forerunner. Okay. Omen of the Forge. Sweet. Bronze Sword. Revoke Existence. Arena Trickster. Oh. Our first uncommon is Calliope, Beloved of the Sea. Very cool. Thundering Chariot. Escape Velocity. And then the rare is Temple of Malice. Nice. And we have a mountain. So congrats on the Temple of Malice. A playable card. Very nice. It's always nice to get rare lands in a pack, so that's pretty cool. And then I do have a pack for my followers, which I will do on Twitter when I just post my review of this stream. So if you did like my content, if you did like the stream, definitely give me a follow if you feel like it. I do want to try to get to 1,000 by the end of March. And I'm currently at 868, so every follower is more than welcome to join up. But that's me. I'm gonna leave you guys probably with the Legacy Pit. The Legacy Pit do some pretty amazing stuff, especially with Paper Legacy, which is cool. So a huge thank you to those who won the giveaways. Send me your details, and I'll get them out to you tomorrow. But until then, quickly find this creator dashboard and send you guys over to the Legacy Pit. If you want to find me on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, you can catch me at Doogs, Twitter/Doogs. All my YouTube videos and recordings, which aren't streamed, are on YouTube/C/Doogs on Twitch, which you can find below as well. A huge thank you to everyone who came in. A huge thank you to the subs and the followers. My name is Doogs on Twitch. I'll be back on Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Enjoy your weekends. Stay safe. Play fair, play hard, and I will catch you soon. And now there's that little awkward moment between when we actually raid the channel and I finish the stream. So I'm just gonna say thank you once again.